I mean, you talk about the bill that Donald Trump quashed, that was in 2024. You talk about the bill he tried to get passed in 2021. That wasn't able to get passed. 2022, 2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration.
But if it was that easy with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. We have to understand that ultimately this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action. Congress has the authority and the purse.
Elon Musk stated in a post that the illegal immigrants were brought in so that they could become legal voters, and they sent them to the states where the race is always close: Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, Arizona. The reason Michigan is no longer close is because she appointed Tampon Tim as her VP pick. Most likely because he let the highest number of immigrants into his state and fast-tracked them to citizenship while simultaneously putting tampons in boys' bathroom. So the more kids you can convert to homosexual behavior, there'll be Democrats. The immigrants will be Democratic voters. So you're ensuring that the Democrats will win every election going forward. Tampon Tim aided and abetted this process.
He would prefer to run on the problem instead of fix the problem. You may know there were some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress working with others that came up with a border security bill that would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Those border agents are overwhelmed. They need the support. They need the backup. It would have allowed us to have more resources to stem the flow of fentanyl. I don't need to tell this state and people around the country what is happening in terms of the scourge of fentanyl and how it is literally killing Americans. It would have put resources into stemming the flow. It would have given more resources to investigate and prosecute transnational criminal organizations. It would have done a lot of good. Donald Trump got wind of the bill and told them, don't put it forward. He killed the bill because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures, and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children.
I am an undecided voter. I am looking at the pros and the cons of both parties, and I'm weighing my options. I'm not going to vote for anyone because they're female or they are partially black, especially since there's no black agenda in place and no black leadership. So there's nothing to be expected for black people other than the warm, fuzzy feeling of having a black woman in the White House. And I'm only going to vote based on the issues that are important to me. And you're not going to bully me or scare me into voting using trigger language to get me to vote one way or the other. As much as I love Beyonce, you're not going to bedazzle me into voting because you bring out all these celebrities, from Beyonce to Usher to Tyler Perry, Eminem, the list goes on and on. I'm not distracted from what the issue is. And if anything, that makes me suspect that you are distracting us with the celebrities and the big name people as a way of distracting from not giving clear, cogent responses to what is most important to the American people: the border, the economy, the price of groceries and gas, and a lot of other issues that are far greater to American people than abortion rights. And that's all she keeps hammering on. That's a small percentage of the population that's their issue. Every female in the White House has designers sending them clothes, from suits to blouses to shoes to jewelry, because they're on the worldwide stage. As vice president, she is having the top designers in the world, specifically American designers, send her suits, gowns, shoes, jewelry, everything that's going to be visibly seen when she's on television. It is impossible for me to believe that Tiffany's, Van Cleef & Arpels, Mary Kay Jewelers, Jacob the Jeweler, Lorraine Schwartz, or any other jeweler has not sent her a ton of earrings and a ton of jewelry to choose from. Yet every single interview she has the same earrings on. Different clothes, different shoes, sometimes even different necklace, different rings, but the same exact earrings in every single interview since the debate.
And so just look 1 minute out. I have 1 minute. Kosher salt, fresh ground pepper.
I have been following Donald Trump since the 1980s, when he was married to his first wife, Ivana, and he was building Trump Tower and on Entertainment Tonight every night. I followed him on The Apprentice. I went to a seminar where he was the keynote speaker. The Learning Annex in 2006 had a seminar at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago. And they had all these great speakers, from Tony Robbins to Robert Kiyosaki, all these business minds. And Donald Trump was the keynote speaker. He closed that event. So I've been following Donald Trump most of my adult life. I've read every book that he's written. I do not believe he's a racist. I do not believe he's a fascist. I do not believe he models himself after Hitler. I think all of that is media and the Democratic Party and those that control that want to paint him in a way that gets people to vote Democrat. And I don't fall for that. I've studied this man longer than any other politician. I know more about him than I know about the Clintons, the Obamas, anybody that has ever ran for office, because he was one of the first people that I was inspired by through his books and through his real estate business ventures. There's nothing in me that believes this man is a racist. There's nothing in me that believes he's a fascist. There's nothing in me that believes he's like Hitler or will govern like Hitler. And that is not going to move me in terms of my vote with those scare tactics. I think allowing 20 million illegal immigrants in the country is worse than anything they've accused Donald Trump of. I think allowing children to be exposed to sexual information, same-sex information, and then conditioned to question their sexuality and give them hormones to change who they are and possible surgeries. That's insanity at the highest level. And the Democrats are dangerously leading this country, worse than anything they're accusing the Republican Party of. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. This thing is, neither side is offering anything. I think she's very qualified to be president of the United States. The things that I've outlined concern me. And unless she can come with a better answer for why they allowed 20 million people into this country, and a better answer for why they are educating children on homosexual behavior without parental consent. You send your boy to school as a boy and he comes back with a girl mentality. That's disturbing. And I believe they're doing all of that for votes. So I'm going to give this, up until Election Day before I make my decision. But I do like her as a candidate, and I think she's very qualified. But I have sense enough to know she would not be running the country. The power behind her, the power structure, would actually be running the country.